Aloha everyone. Welcome to this video podcast session with Naulu Center. I'm your host, Auntie Max, and we're here with Rebecca Goldsmith. She's a Filipino activist and an artist, and she's here today to share about a special culture dish and teach us a little bit about its connection and culture. All right, Rebecca, take it away.
So Lubilubi is a special dessert that is from the Ilocos region, and it is made from pounded cassava. Sometimes it has kalo or ube, sweet potato, banana, but generally it is a pounded cassava dessert that is eaten in community. It's usually made for kind of celebration, and it's actually this same kind of pounded cassava dessert is found in different regions in the Philippines. I've heard of it in the Waray language, so there's actually a song called Lubilubi that I think originally the folk song is from the Waray language. We have the same song in Ilocano that kind of talks about the pounding of all the different foods coming together and people coming together to be pounded. Maki lubi is like the act of together, like pounding the thing together. So it's cool to kind of trace the roots of the dessert through song, and I'm not exactly sure about the translation of the Waray song, but there's also a Tagalog version. And I've also seen references to linupak or nilupak, which is a similar kind of dessert, cassava with grated coconut in Samar and other parts of the Visayas. So that's further south from the northern Philippines, where the Ilocos is. The Ilocos region, the Ilocos Norte and Ilocos Sur are located. So yeah, I guess you could kind of find variations of this dessert all over the Philippines, probably even in the southern Philippines as well. So you would throw in all the different ingredients. People would bring boiled bananas, or again, peanuts, sesame seeds, grated coconut, kalo, sweet potatoes, and stuff like that. And now the kind of more contemporary version is people add a can of condensed milk or margarine, so it gives it a kind of sticky yellow sort of really sweet consistency. And what we did in our sort of variation of it was we boiled the cassava root with the pandan. So we peeled and boiled the cassava after it's been peeled with the pandan leaf from the garden. And we pressure cooked our kalo in the Instapot. Thank you for the Instapot, love it. We grated the coconut by hand, and then we pressed a little bit of coconut milk with hot water. We used that leftover grated coconut and toasted some to put it on top, and we mashed all of the cassava and the kalo with some toasted sesame seeds. We kind of used a potato masher to mash everything together, and then we ended up heating the banana leaves that were also from the garden to create kind of a base to line the pan with, because that's still the toasted banana leaf, or the heated banana leaf also gives a flavor to the kind of masa, the dough. So then we spread out that mixture, that sticky beaten mixture of cassava and kalo and everything like that, spread it out over the banana leaves in the pan, and then sprinkled toasted coconut over it. And that was it. So there's another version where you can roll the cassava balls, like roll it into a ball, kind of like in your palm, and roll that whole ball in coconut, toasted coconut or fresh grated coconut. That works too. Both of those versions are good, and the people who taught me how to make this, the first person was Salvador Obaldo, who's here in Honolulu, and he actually gave a workshop to Laing Hawaii, which is our it's basically a Filipino heritage language preservation program. So where we do Ilocano and Cebuano classes, and we offer different kinds of cultural programming, and we wanted to do like a Lubilubi social where everyone would come together and bring what they had and learn how to make Lubilubi. So Manong Salvador taught us how to make the lubi, and it's kind of cool too because historically people would bring down all the ingredients and share and combine their efforts together. And it also kind of was like a courting period where like everyone would come down. It was a social event where you would meet people and see other people and maybe like scope out who was there. So we had a Lubilubi social, I think last year in 2019. Cassava, which is in Ilocano, it's called kahoy. In Tagalog, they call it kamoteng kahoy. And it can also be referred to as maniok. I know in Brazil, they call it manioca or maniok. Tapioca, yuca, has a lot of different names, and they use it in a lot of different places. I think it's originally from Brazil, but it also exists in other parts of Latin America and Asia, Southeast Asia, India, and in Africa and West Africa too. So it's kind of a global root vegetable that is really important in many different cultures. Let's see, I guess I was inspired to highlight Lubilubi because it's something that you don't usually find in the store. It's something that, you know, you can kind of go to the bakeries here in Honolulu and find maybe hopia or different kinds of pastry, ensaimada, or maybe like a puto or other kinds of rice kankanen. But the cassava, this particular lubi-lubi, is just something that usually you make in community and you make to eat together at a party. And the process of making it is also part of the celebration. So traditionally, people would come together, everyone would bring a different ingredient. So maybe if you had bananas and your across the road neighbor had peanuts and somebody else down the street had kalo, or what we call in Ilocano aba, or in Tagalog it's gabi. So taro basically. Whoever had the different elements, everyone would bring something, and probably someone's house would have the mortar and pestle. So you'd have a big giant wooden or stone mortar, and then a wooden pestle, which would be kind of like a giant pole that people would use to take turns beating the cassava and the mix of all the different ingredients in the mortar. So it's almost like when you see them making the old school way of making mochi, pounding the rice, where someone's taking the turn pounding the rice with the big hammer. It's very similar to that, but it's like a stick straight up big piece of wood that you use to pound the cassava. Again, because it's something rare that you cannot usually get in the store. And also I just love the tradition of singing that goes along with it, of communal living, and also love that people would come to maki lubi-lubi and also to maybe find love. So mahalo, and thanks so much for watching.
Wow, that was great. Can't wait to try this dish. It looks so ono. Mahalo, Rebecca, for sharing. And thank you, Naulu Center, for sponsoring this session. Well, that's it for me. Auntie Max signing off. Aloha.